What if instead of doing this, we all started doing this? Hi, it's Colleen and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a reusable, eco-friendly version of one of the most common single-use household products, the paper towel. In development as early as 1879, the first mass-produced paper towels hit the market in the 1920s. Relentless advertising campaigns extolled the virtues of disposable paper towels. And by the 1960s, rolls of paper towels could be found in many, if not most, American households. Today, Americans are the top users of paper towels, accounting for well over half of the global consumption and averaging 53 pounds of paper towels per person per year. For many people, it's just easier to use a disposable paper towel than to use a rag that you have to wash. But at what cost? I realized that most of my paper towel usage was to dry my hands after washing them, or to wipe up drink spills and water from doing the dishes, and all of those paper towels ended up in a plastic trash bag bound for the landfill. That seems really wasteful when a rag can do the job. Enter the, quote, reusable paper towel. It's easy to buy products marketed as reusable paper towels or unpaper towels. In fact, an Amazon search returned 4,000 results. You can also find them on Etsy and in stores and at craft fairs. They come in all kinds of designs, but most of them are just flannel rags that are presented in the same way paper towels are, on a roll. The idea is to make the action of grabbing a rag similar to the action of grabbing a paper towel. It helps our brains make the switch to something new so we can create new habits. I've been slowly replacing single-use items with reusable versions in an attempt to not only reduce consumption but also to save a little money. Yes, there is an upfront investment, but the savings over the long term is significant, and I feel like I'm doing my small part to reduce waste and my dependence on single-use plastics. I haven't eliminated everything that I could or should, but compared to just a couple of years ago, I feel a lot better about my environmental impact, which has been one of my long-term goals. That's what led me to my first set of reusable paper towels, which I received for free in exchange for my review. While it was kind of strange at first, I quickly became used to the substitution. The flannel rags are easy to wash with my laundry, and they do a great job cleaning up many of the same messes I used to use paper towels to clean up. I do still buy paper towels for the really gross spills like raw meat and messes made by our cats, but I've cut the amount I buy to just a few rolls a year. That saves me money, storage space, and trips to the store. That brings us to today's video. The first roll of reusable paper towels that I had were starting to look a little grungy, so I decided to make a new set, and I wanted to show you how I did it. It's actually really easy. Take a look. Here's one of the original cloths, and I have really liked these. It took a while for them to become absorbent because when they arrived, they had not been washed previously, so I had to wash them before I used them, and it did take a couple washings to really make them absorbent. But I mean, I've been using these now for a year and a half, I guess, and they've become stained. This is actually one of the better ones, but they've become stained through use. The thing that has annoyed me since the beginning is that they all have this big tag, and I mean, it's big and bulky. Every single cloth has the tag on there, and I'll be glad to have a set that doesn't have that. To remake it, I'm going to measure this out, and then I'm going to cut this flannel, and it's 100% cotton flannel. I'm going to cut it into these shapes and use my serger to finish the edges, and I'll have a whole new set. I got this flannel at Joann while it was going out of business. It was my last purchase at Joann. I don't know that I'll be going back for anything. The clearance sale wasn't any better than like a regular sale would be at Joann, and you have to buy a minimum of 2 yards. I really didn't need that much of this, but anyway, I have enough to make all the cloths I'll ever need. Let's start by looking at the measurement on this. 11 inches long and about 8 inches wide, and then it's rounded off on the edges. This has been washed and dried, which is why it's a little ratty here on the edges, but that won't matter a bit. You know, they're just rags, and they'll get just as messed up as the other ones were, so I don't really care if they're not perfect. I just got to figure out the most efficient way to do this. This should be 22 inches, more or less. Let's see. No, not quite. So see, it shrank quite a bit because I think it was 44 inches and now it's down to about 40. I went away and did some math and came back, and I'm going to cut these 11-inch strips, and then I'll cut those into 8-inch sections to create my cloths. And I am going to cut off the selvage because it's wanting to fold in on itself. I'm going to cut this off. And then we're going to go 11 inches in, and I'm just going to mark it. I have a cat coming to see me. Okay, so we're going to repeat that for the length of this cloth. Out of my 2 yards, I was able to get 6 11-inch wide strips, and now I am stacking those back up. And you know, I'm trying not to worry about being perfect because these are just going to be washcloths and rags. But the idea is that you have these on hand and you don't have to use paper towels as much. You know, perfect is not really necessary in this case. All right, so there's my stack of 6 11-inch wide strips, and now I want to go 8 inches this way all the way across the strip. And here is the last bunch, which don't quite line up on the edge. I just want to make sure how short it's going to end up being. Should be just about right. Now, a couple of them are going to be a little bit smaller, but I think that'll be okay. I've got 35 cloths here, and I'm just going to run them through my serger and they'll be ready to use. This is the tube that my original set came on, and it's just like a paper towel tube, but it's probably a little bit thicker. It's exactly the right size to roll them up. All right, I did a few samples and didn't do quite a good job on the first one, but the second one is great. This is right on top of the original. And if I flip it over, there's mine. And it looks fine. So I'm just rounding the corners at the machine, which means it's going to be a little funky at times, like this one. Whoops, this one's a little bit off, but that one's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. Only 34 more to do. All that's left to do is stack them up and put them on the roll. It's that easy. If you don't have a serger, you can use a zigzag stitch to finish off the edges, but a serger makes everything go a lot faster. I made this green set of cloths in April, and they are holding up really well. They look great, they match my kitchen, and I just think they're wonderful. And they do hold up a lot better than a regular paper towel. If I tried to wet a paper towel and wipe up a counter just like I did with the cloth, you'll see it falls apart. It just doesn't hold up well, and it'll shred and leave behind a lot of residue. Having these cloths really makes a difference. As for my old cloths, well, they're still in rotation. We use them for dirty jobs like cleaning sewing machines or working on the car. A rag is perfect, right? So they're still in use, and we'll keep using them until they wear out. Thanks for joining me for this latest installment in my Minutes to Make series. As always, leave a like and a comment. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Have a great day.